Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Englewood Cliffs Mayor and Council regular meeting of May 10th, 2017. It is now 8:05 p.m. Madam Clerk, would you please do the roll call?
Mayor Kranjak,
I'm here.
Councilperson Zaversa,
Here.
E. Park,
Here.
O.
Here.
McMorro,
Here.
M. Park,
Here.
Wu,
Here.
Borough Attorney,
Present.
Borough Administrator,
Yeah.
and Borough Clerk. Everyone's present, Mayor.
Thank you. Please all rise for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for 1 minute, a moment of silence for Sergeant Colin Ford's father who passed away last week. Thank you. Madam Clerk, could you please read the Open Public Meetings Act statement?
Adequate notice of this meeting was given to the press and posted as required. Date and time of this meeting was legally given as required by the Open Public Meetings Act. This notice is on file with the municipal clerk and posted on the bulletin board. Minutes of this meeting will be made available to the public upon the completion of typing and proofreading by the municipal clerk.
Okay, thank you. At this point in the meeting, I'd like to have the Finance Committee Chairperson review the claims for the period April 13th, 2017 through May 10th, 2017.
Mayor, I've reviewed the claims, and other than the two that were mentioned at the caucus, I move that they be paid.
We need a second? Thank you. May I take a roll call?
Yes, please.
Councilperson Zaversa?
Yes.
E. Park?
Yes.
O.
Yes.
McMorro?
Yes.
M. Park?
Yes.
Wu.
Yes. Thank you. Before I ask for a motion to open up to the public, I just want to mention two things. I'm thankful for everybody who voted in favor of approving our budget yesterday. We have a lot of great things to do with that budget, and we can now do those all. I broke the tie, and that's enough said on that. I do want to thank personally and publicly Councilwoman McMorro for leading the Finance Committee and doing such a great job this year. And also Anne Marie Rizzuto, our Borough Council, who had a lot of input as well, and our Borough Administrators who shared the task this year, started with Lizette Duffy and ended with Catherine Stein. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate what you've done. Also, just want to mention that we had opening day at Little League. We had Billy Sample, former New York Yankee, Texas Ranger, present. He was the highlight. He spoke very motivationally for all the players. It was a lovely day. He threw out an opening pitch, and I threw out an opening pitch, so soccer players can actually throw. 2 years in a row. I think I had a strike for him, right? Yep. Okay. Okay. Could I have a motion to open up to the public for their comments, please?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. If there's anyone from the public who wishes to be heard, please come up to the microphone, state your name and address, and tell us what's on your mind. Yes, sir.
Thomas Moore Business, 26 Cal Street, Englewood Cliffs. Two things. One thing is the proposed lease, I presume, that you folks want to give to the Lions. I gave it a lot of thought and asked a lot of people in town, and very few people knew that the town owns the property. The Lions Club has built the building on top, so I was told. There's only 3 members, to my knowledge, or 4 members for the last 10 years. I would propose, just in the event that we need it for coal or for parking, why don't we just knock down the building and let them merge? If we give them a lease, do we have to pay them for the building? Because I'm not interested into eminent domain situation, because that's where we would sit. Now, they don't have a lease, they don't have any rights. It's coming on.
I'm going to ask the Borough Council to
Yes,
address
go right ahead.
it's a legal question that you have.
100%.
And I'm not sure if you can answer it tonight, but if you can.
Well, I'd just say, the council has authorized me to discuss a lease with the Lions Club by a resolution last month, and to bring an agreement or the terms of an agreement back. So it's still going to be subject to mayor and council approval, and the public will hear about that. The second point I'm going to say to you is that eminent domain does not apply for what amounts to improvements on property. Eminent domain only applies to real property. Doesn't apply to buildings on top of it. It's usually an action by a governmental agency to take a portion of land because they need it for their roadway, or some such thing like that. The situation of the Lions Club ownership of the building as opposed to ownership of the land is an anomaly. It is not the usual or preferred method. It's usually, we sell you the land, go ahead and build whatever you want on it. In this case, it emanates from the 1971 lease that has not been renewed and is now under consideration, really for a new lease. It's existed all of these years, and they paid their dollars worth of rent every year. So,
They paid their dollars worth of rent, we also rented it to have voting, and we supported it. So
I do
now,
understand.
I don't mind, I wouldn't mind if there was a Lions Club here with 10 members, 15 members, 20 members. Yeah, 3 members.
I understand, and part of what we're going to be discussing is the building, the condition of the building, and how it can be opened up for more uses. And I learned also that apparently there are some tennis courts there that need repairs and maintenance and upgrading, if the borough would be interested in that, because it is our land. But these kinds of things are not yet open for discussion. I mean, you can discuss it, but I haven't negotiated or undertaken that.
I'm just, it's,
And the indication at this point has not been that the borough wants to take that property back, or knock down any buildings, or do anything of that nature. However, it is a borough property, and it is listed as available for affordable housing. So if we were to have to use it for affordable housing construction, we would, and it probably would be an eminent domain, not an eminent domain, a condemnation of the building so that it can be demolished for affordable
and
housing.
then we'd have to pay for that.
Well, there's some issues about that, and it's premature for me to guess about the legal ramifications.
Well, I'm not, it should be figured out before we give a lease or discuss a lease, if down the road, we're gonna have to pay somebody for that building. When today, we don't have to give a lease, and we could tell somebody, take your building and go somewhere else. Okay? I mean, I hate to be that rude,
I
but
understand.
that's where you're coming from. Second, I was very pleased to meet the building inspector, the new building inspector you have. He's a lovely guy, very knowledgeable man. I must commend you on your choice, whether it was you, Carol, you, Mayor, whoever in the council found this gentleman. I think he's terrific.
Great, thank you.
He works 2 days a week. Maintenance, zoning, buildings. The south side is falling apart. I understand that we have a planner to give us ideas and so on and so forth. By the time that planner gets through with us, and by the time people do anything, it's 2 years, 3 years down the road. You can't leave properties unmaintained that looks like the South Bronx on the south side of Englewood Cliffs, including the LNG bank that PNC left, where the grass now looks like a barnyard. We have nobody who does maintenance. Maintenance, if we hired somebody for maintenance, he would pay for himself, vis-a-vis tickets, vis-a-vis
Yes, sir.
permits.
If I may ask the borough administrator to answer some of your issues. I think he works 4 days, or at least
Well,
one.
He works more than 2, and
He works 4 days,
Yes.
and he is our property maintenance officer, the individual you met.
I understand. but he can't do everything.
Well, I have to tell you, Tony, if I may, for a second, I bumped into him in the door, in the parking lot, was it yesterday, a day before yesterday? He had a sheet in his hand of 7 properties that he had just come back from checking. He's doing a great job.
I didn't.
So, no, I'm just saying,
Please,
you're saying he
I'm
doesn't have
agreeing
time,
with you. I'm not saying he's doing a bad job.
but I'm just saying that he's
the man
appearing to
can
have
only do
time.
so much. He can't be a one-hour paper hanger.
Well, he's working his way through a list that hadn't been dealt with for a long time.
I understand.
And in fact, I call in to Catherine often when I'm out in the streets and tell her, just pass this along.
You understand what I'm saying?
No,
I mean, come
right.
on, the South Side, look, even when they're doing construction on the restaurant across the street from Cafe Italiano, okay? There's no fence. Any kid can walk in there and get killed. Come on, guys. I mean, I see it. You people see it. You can't have buildings with no windows, with squirrels walking in and out, and birds flying in and out. And the roofs are collapsing. It's not right.
Well, all the buildings that you've mentioned, we've also mentioned to him, and he's dealing with them. But I
No,
encourage
no.
everyone in the audience, if you see things that you don't like in
Send
town,
an email in.
send an email or call the Borough Hall, and we're running a list of all the issues in town. I know there's knockdowns that have been knocked down, where there's fences around for 2 years with weeds growing. There's a lot of these issues in town, and we do have to stop this. You're absolutely right. This is not
What do you mean?
acceptable.
I mean, it's
And one of the first things I said about the south part of town on 9W is that we do need to have a planner look at this, and we are having that done. And I don't know, does anybody have an update on when we're going to get that report?
Within the next month, I believe, it's about a month, but there's also a process, Tony, even after those areas that you're speaking of. Let me
You're right.
finish my sentence for a second, please, thank you. It's not, you see it, you report it, you look at it, there's a process, and the administrator can tell us. You have to send a letter, you have to wait for the response, you have to, he's only been here, I think, a month and a half. You have to wait for the process to start to work, and we are all anxiously waiting for that process.
I respect what you're saying.
Even if
I
we had a
understand.
separate dedicated person who would say anything.
I own properties in about 7 towns.
Right.
If property maintenance mails you a letter, you have X amount of days to comply with that violation, whether it be a
I
roof.
don't know if they give them one.
Yes, no, they give a letter and they give you time. I can show you a few letters, because my tenants don't cut their grass, and I got 5 days, or I get a $200 fine and go to court on Main Street, or State Street, whatever they call it in Hackensack. Please, I am aware when I do construction, and they see a roof on something that I bought, and I didn't do it right away because I bought it speculating I'm going to do it and fix it, they fine you. They don't want to hear you have this and that. They're not interested. They want it done. We should have it done. I'm not saying knock down the buildings. I'm not saying kill anybody. But when you see an eyesore, have it fixed. You own it, fix it. You own it, cut the grass. LNG can't cut their grass on PNC Bank, but they closed. Come on. I mean, it's just not right. And if we had somebody who did this and gave a 5-day notice and they didn't do it, this court in here would make money, this town would benefit. That's what I'm saying.
I agree with everything you
Yeah, thank
said
you.
regarding property maintenance. Catherine, would you like to add anything to that, or give us a little bit more color on what's being done or what's happened?
Well, right now, we've been providing him with an entire list of properties that have a multitude of problems, between property maintenance, drainage issues. We do have a 1 o'clock meeting tomorrow with the engineer as it pertains to drainage issues. Property owners are given a certain period of time, a letter of warning. We have to give them an abatement period in order to comply. If they don't comply within a certain amount of abatement time, then he has to issue a violation.
What are the time frames that we're talking about here?
Most towns, it's usually 14 days, 10 to 14 days to abate, because that we normally send certified letters. That's usually the fair period. Some towns, clearly in Hackensack, it's shorter. But ours, I'm not certain of the exact time, but I'm going to assume we probably follow the same 10 to 14-day period. So, I'm confident he's probably sent out some letters. We have been having meetings about it. All of the staff in Borough Hall has been taking property maintenance complaints. We document them through the email system, and we chronically follow up on them. That includes the trenches in the streets, because things haven't been done for a period of time. As you know, Mayor, I was dealing with some of the trenches in the streets. In order not to put that on his plate, I dealt with that myself in my office.
And thank you for doing that, because Catherine's actually got some of our utilities to go back and fix things that they didn't do correctly years ago, I think. Yeah.
Correct, this one was from 2011, they never came back to fix it.
Right. Right. So thank you.
Thank you,
It is being addressed.
thank you.
Okay, is there anyone else who wishes to be heard? Yes, sir.
Dave P. Gregorio, 165 Charlotte Place. The Lions, do we know who these individuals are, the individual Lions that,
The gentleman in the back row over there,
okay,
Lions Club.
Lions Club. And do they have a position on this, do they have plans, did anyone speak with them?
They want to renew the lease.
They want to renew the lease, and the lease you had mentioned is $1?
That's not unusual, but correct, it's $1. That's not unusual for between a public entity and a nonprofit civic organization.
And that goes back to, what,
1971, but it's not unusual to have $1 rent. So I just want to make sure you understand
I
that.
understand. Do they have any plans for the building that they expressed to you?
There are, they've expressed to me some renovation plans, but the borough may want to consider more substantial improvements.
So if the borough does not renew the lease, then you would mention something about affordable housing.
Well, no, the property, as are all borough properties which are not in active use, like a field, okay? It's not, all borough-owned property is listed as available for affordable housing. We didn't say we're gonna put affordable housing there. It is listed on the fair share housing plan of the borough. That property is listed because we own it, there's a building on it, but it really is not being substantially used. The Borough Hall property isn't listed for available for affordable housing, but that is.
Can you go back to the initial step that creates this obligation on the borough?
For what, affordable housing?
Yeah, affordable housing.
Well, of course, affordable housing goes back probably 25 years. I don't want to get into a dissertation, but the affordable housing is now being assigned back to the courts of the state of New Jersey.
Right.
And this borough applied for protection by complying with the Fair Share Housing Act and filing certain documentation with the court. And the protection is, we don't have to get sued by builders because we're not meeting our obligation.
Right.
We filed and proposed, here's how we possibly could meet our obligation, and here's the land where it might be able to happen.
And
So that's one of them.
What other parcels?
I'm sorry, I can't speak on that. I do not have direct knowledge of it.
You
I
don't
haven't
look-
looked at the COA and the affordable housing since I'm here, since
Right.
January. I know my office had something to do with it, and my extent of the knowledge at this current time is there's not an active litigation,
Right.
and the borough administrator promptly connected with the person in the borough engineer's office and planning who assists. That's a lot of planning stuff that happens with that. And there are documents that exist with the borough, and there are things that are under consideration, but there's no activity.
Right.
Active.
Does the borough own any other parcels in town in addition to the tennis court and the Lions? And is the tennis court?
Of course it does.
Well, aside from the ones that are not being used, but is the tennis court part of the Lions Club property
I
that's
was-
being moved?
I was told today,
It's not part of it.
hold on, I checked with the tax office today on what the lot and blocks are for the Lions Club, and I was told there are 2 tennis courts. Now, if it's not that lot and block, then I was misinformed or misunderstood.
So, can I ask the Lions Club, are those tennis courts part of your property?
This is, actually, Mr. Di Gregorio, this is, Mr. Di Gregorio.
Okay, okay.
You're welcome to talk about this in your own time, but this is actually, you, Mr. Di Gregorio, are addressing the council right
Okay,
now.
well, I thought maybe they...
They're not on council.
No, it's okay. But, and certainly your inquiry about what borough-owned properties there are can be made through an Oprah or something, I don't
I
have
sure,
any.
I will do that, but any I should say, unused properties that are owned by the borough.
You can make an Oprah request,
I'll
I
make
really
a
don't know.
request. All right.
Thanks.
I'm sorry, you want to answer, can you answer him?
I was being facetious.
She'll do an Oprah.
Can you answer?
No, you should do an Oprah.
Not doing Oprah.
I'm sorry,
That's fine.
That's fine.
I
I don't want to
heard
encourage
there
her.
was a budget meeting yesterday at 9 o'clock, is that correct?
Well, as you heard before, I thank everyone for helping pass the budget yesterday.
Yes.
There was a meeting
Let
at
him
9
ask
o'clock.
this question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's-
okay, Carol,
I said, no, please ask your
Well,
question.
thank you. You're cutting off the mayor,
No, I wasn't.
We work well together,
Good.
trust me.
I'm sure you both do. What was my line of questioning then?
You asked if we had a budget meeting
Oh,
yesterday.
yeah, the
It
budget
sounded like you knew
meeting.
the answer to the question.
Honestly, I didn't know about the budget meeting.
Really?
Otherwise I would have,
It was publicly advertised. It was publicly advertised. It was posted on the website.
I'll have to
Sign,
keep a
the LED.
closer-
There was a sign outside that was flashing.
The sign that nobody sees over here. And I got this correspondence from this love letter from Mario Kranjak, Carol McMorrow, Mark Park, and William Wu. And it's very, very strong wording in here. And I see that, well, first of all, can I ask who composed the letter? This letter here.
Borough business,
You're
sir?
here to comment, sir.
Yeah, well, it is because it comes from the mayor. I would think it came to my house, actually 2, one for my wife and one for me. So I'd like to know who wrote the letter.
I don't believe it said, I think at the bottom it says not paid for with borough funds.
Right, but it's signed by the mayor, councilman,
Well,
council president.
And
So I guess
It was
you all
a-
wrote the letter together. Is that correct?
Do you have a question regarding
Yes.
the letter?
Yes.
You don't have-
Well, I have a question about some of the rhetoric in the letter. It says about the 3 individuals sitting over to your right, that they lied to you again. So I'd like to know specifically what these lies are, and it says again, what did they lie about previously?
We are here tonight to conduct borough business.
This
What
is
you're
borough
doing,
business.
what you're doing is you're wanting to be political. There was
No.
also a letter that you got from the other people.
I did.
So take the 2 letters and go read them side by side,
Okay.
and then ask us, but not on borough time and borough business.
Okay.
Okay?
Last question, the paving that's going on. On Alyssa or Eliza, they did a lot of work replacing water pipes. Was that approved by the town, or how did that work? How does that work with the water pipes?
You know what, actually, I'm going to ask the borough administrator to answer that, because we've been involved together, but you actually are deeper into the issue.
Right. United Water, along with the other utility companies, are upgrading all services in all of Bergen County.
Right.
So the water services on certain areas of the town needed to be upgraded. Yearly, they'll come back and do more roads. So we had a meeting with them for the roads, that particular road as well, for which they're upgrading the water service.
Right.
Needless to say, once the water service is upgraded, the road will get repaid, but the trench has to settle first.
Okay,
So there's not only that road, there's other roads within the municipality.
understood.
Yes.
So it will be, some of the curb has been destroyed and not put back by the water company?
Anything that the water company damaged,
Yeah.
they would have to repair. Currently, they're possibly going to pay us to have it done.
Okay.
We are aware the the curbing as per the pre-construction meeting, because I've experienced these in the past, I made them take a pre-construction video of our area, so
Right.
that I can prove what they may have damaged or what was damaged prior.
Okay.
So we will know what has been damaged and what hasn't. And if any residents know there's a damaged area on any of where utility damages, by all means, notify us so that we will make certain that it's
Thank you.
corrected.
Thank you, will do. One last thing, and I really, letters that are sent out on both sides, you know, I mean, it's political and people are running for office and stuff and everything else, I get that. But certainly, to make accusations, you know, it's just, can't we be done with that, for crying out loud? Can't we just, you know, I don't want to, we shouldn't have a love fest by any means.
We are working well together.
Well, I hope
In
so.
fact, I've seen things that you posted accusing our engineer of wanting to give our children cancer. I mean, we
Well-
should practice what you preach.
Well, is that this engineer here? I would have told him in person if I knew it was this engineer.
No, but you wrote it and you disseminated it to everybody.
Well, that's,
Right.
yes, and I'm a citizen, and if...
Well, there's a liability that comes with that, sir, under the
Liability.
Communications Decency Act, okay? So,
I don't think I said anything indecent, but if you do put in crumb rubber,
if you're asking...
you are increasing the risk of cancer for our young people.
Right.
So I would say that...
We're going to have a meeting on what is it, June 12th?
June
I'm
12th.
gonna get my
June
report
12th.
there.
I'm stealing your thunder,
I-
okay? Sorry about that. But
And
June
there-
12th, we're going to have a meeting, we're going to give you all the time you want at the microphone
Thank you.
to tell us how terrible we are, and, you know, but the kids are going to love what we do for them, so.
I will say, though, you threatened me before.
They never threaten you.
No, you said about litigation and what...
No, you're free to do whatever you want.
I took it as a threat.
Don't ever leave here with a threat in mind, okay?
Well, thank
Because,
you.
yeah,
But,
really,
Mr.
you're
Mayor, I
welcome.
will tell you that leadership
Thank you,
is
thank you.
not,
No,
and I'll be glad to give you a seminar.
I know, you always feel like you have to give me a seminar on things, but you know what? You're also not the person who's spending 10 hours a day working for this borough, okay? We are doing our job, we're doing a very good job. Most people are very, very happy with what we have accomplished, okay? Including our budgets,
Okay,
okay?
well,
Thank you.
Not everybody.
It sounds like you're finished, sir.
I-
Does anybody else?
But I will say, Mayor, that threatening people is not...
There's no threat, just
And
don't
also...
be such a snowflake about
No,
things,
I'm
okay?
not.
Come
No
on.
snowflake.
Mayor, can we just let him finish?
No, you're out of order,
Can we
ma'am.
just let
No,
him...
he is finished. He said he had one more question, and now he's on a diatribe. So is there anybody else who wishes to speak?
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor, very much.
Thank you.
And leadership... takes
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Really
All right,
going to the other side and being nice.
have a seat. We work
And
well
reaching
together
out.
until people like you start instigating, and then we have issues.
I'm not instigating.
Don't-
You're the one who took the sign down. That was childish. You took this mayor
You're
very
finished.
seriously.
You keep
I know.
repeating yourself, sir.
Could you
You
have
keep
someone
repeating
escort
yourself.
me out?
No,
Would you
no,
like
have
to
a seat. I want you to stay. Have a seat. Run for office. Why don't you run for office? That'd be even better.
Oh, maybe I'll...
I'd love to
consider
see
it.
you run for office.
Thank you very much.
Anytime. Anybody else wish to be heard? Raise your hands.
Did I need to raise my hand?
Well, usually we do, but since you're so comfortable coming up, go ahead.
Okay. That makes me happy. I actually didn't come here to talk about...
I'm sorry, name and address.
Jackie Sabari, 106 Hollywood.
Thank you.
I was just interested because I was listening to the comments about COLA. And actually, I've just been appointed to the board at Habitat of Humanity at Site Selection Committee for that. And it's interesting what they're doing with that, and I know there's that taboo about affordable housing, but there's actually ways around it where you can do senior citizen housing, housing for vets, where we could actually maybe do something with that property that would benefit some of the people right here in town. So I would love the opportunity to possibly get on some type of a committee with somebody, whoever's handling this on the council, to try to talk through maybe some of the things we could do with that.
We'll consider that, but if you have to check your own conflicts, though, because if you're working for Habitat for Humanity, then
Well,
you would
site
have,
selection.
you would have a conflict as well, I think. You'd
No,
have to
I'm
go-
actually on the site selection committee. It's not that I'm making any decisions for them.
Are you a volunteer?
Yes, I'm wrong.
Mayor, I mean, so, I'm on the committee for that. As the borough attorney was explaining earlier, everything's pretty much at a standstill right now.
Okay.
You know, if and when it ever gets to that point, I don't see why we couldn't put some volunteers on committee.
I'm happy to have volunteers.
Oh, that's okay.
I'm happy to have volunteers, and if
We're not-
you have no conflicts, then it's fine. But if you're working for an organization
I'm not
that,
working for them, I'm volunteering.
well, you're volunteering, you're working for them, it's the same thing.
And
It
I'm
doesn't
on the
matter.
site
I'm a
watching
volunteer here.
committee. What I do is look at the sites. So, again, I was just offering.
Yeah, I'm just saying, right now, everything is out of
Try to
hand,
help.
but,
you know, if you got it under control, I just see that we're talking about some property that we have, and about giving, you know, a club a lease for that, where there are 3 members. I'm just saying, maybe we need to think about that further as a council before.
You're right, and the one thing that we should have mentioned earlier, we mentioned at the last meeting, is the lease would be subject to
yes,
taking the property away.
Right.
yes, it would be something.
Thank you.
And there will be conditions on them having to vacate if we can do affordable housing.
If that property got chosen.
Does anybody else wish to be heard? Yes, Ms. Norton.
Lynn Norton, 9 Willow Drive. First of all, I'd like to thank Catherine, Paul, and Chris for their help yesterday. I think you guys did a great job explaining. You helped me out on pieces I was missing, and I do appreciate your assistance with that. Unfortunately, I couldn't stay till the end of the meeting, but I had a couple of questions on some comments that were made at the end by you, Mayor, and I just wanted to get maybe a little bit more of an explanation, where you said to Gloria that you would work with her if she proved her loyalty to the borough.
Well, if you weren't here for the end, then I think you're taking things out of context.
Well,
Then
I was listening
are you
to it on
parroting?
tape.
You're parroting what you heard, or?
Well,
That's not what I
I'm
said.
parroting what you said on tape, and I'm trying to understand the definition of the borough. Because it's up on the website. The tape was up this morning. Thank you for that. Because I was curious to find out what was going on. So, well, to the borough, I was trying to see what the definition is of the borough. And to me, the definition of the borough is the residents, the paid employees, and the mayor and council. So I don't understand where the issue is in pledging your loyalty. I assume that everybody's working as a team, and that's really what you meant to say, not that they had to pledge their loyalty to you, for instance, or to the other candidates here, that their loyalty was to the borough as a whole. The other comment that I heard made, and I would just like to know from the other council people whether they believe it as well, if this is their philosophy as well, that with loyalty, it had to do with the loyalties and the duties, that you felt with the people speaking out, which is, as I understand, covered under the First Amendment, that Mrs. O should shut them down and put them in their place. So this is a quote from the tape. So I'd like to go councilman by councilperson by councilperson, if that's okay.
No, we're not
See
doing
if
that.
that's what you really
We're not,
believe.
we don't do that. We don't do that.
Let me just, excuse me.
You're out of order, sir.
Excuse me.
Throw me out.
Ms. Norton,
You're free to leave if you wish.
no council member has to answer you, but you can ask
Right,
anything
I
you want.
understand that. I
So I
understand that. I would like
counsel
to
each
ask
of the members.
council
Here's
member
what I'll
if
do.
that is
Let me
their
explain
belief.
this to you, and let me explain this to everyone here. We, as a council, have a fiduciary duty to the borough, not to any one individual, or any party, or political machine, or mob. We have a fiduciary duty. We have a fiduciary... No, you have... We have a fiduciary... We have a fiduciary duty. You haven't been independent for years, so... You asked, and I'm going to tell you now, we have a duty to the borough. And when we're trying to do a budget, and we have council people who are abstaining just to avoid creating a tie that I could break, then we're playing political games. And we're hurting everyone in this town, including you, when people do that. So my point was, yes, Gloria O., yes, Ed Aversa, yes, Ellen Park, I will work with you. But we have to remember, our duties are to the borough and not to our political party. The political parties are done once the election is over, okay? We are here to work, and we're here to banter with you, of course. You could come up here and say whatever you want, and we'll address it. But you have to understand, my guiding principles is we have to do what is best for the borough,
I
which means
understand
that we have to have a budget.
Can I speak?
No, let me
It's a
finish.
public time.
We have to have a budget.
You don't think that they were trying not to do what's in benefit? Each and every person up here is trying to do what they believe will help benefit the borough.
I
It's
disagree
not
with
what
you. That's
did.
not true.
That's fine.
That's
We can
not true.
agree to
That didn't
disagree.
happen.
But you
That-
can't say they're not trying
I
to do
just
this.
told you
It's
why it
wrong.
didn't happen. If somebody doesn't vote yes or no on a budget and they abstain, that is a political game, gimmick, and problem. I address it, okay? And I address it the proper way. We have a budget, okay?
That has nothing to do
I'm going to ask our Finance
with
Committee
anything.
Chairperson, Harold McMorro, to speak.
Thank you, Mayor. Ms. Norton, first of all, I would really appreciate any questions regarding that meeting, if you could direct them to me as the chair of that meeting, because the mayor did not chair that meeting, that's number one. He was only here through the speakerphone, and I did run the meeting, and I have to tell you, I want to thank everyone that was here, because I thought it was one of the best meetings that we've conducted, okay? No disrespect.
I
Hold on.
understand that.
Let me, excuse me.
I understand
Excuse
that.
me, no disrespect to the mayor, but why was it important? Because we were able, through discussion, even though we had a difference of opinion, to get a job done. We passed our budget.
I'm not
Hold on.
denying that. That exactly happened.
One of the things that we discussed at the end of the meeting, and stop attacking the mayor, I'm going to ask
I'm not
you.
attacking them.
What we stated,
No, no.
you're interrupting
You can
me.
attack me
Ma'am.
all you want, I don't
Ma'am,
care. I
ma'am,
really
let me
don't
just
care. You
finish.
can write whatever you want on
Mayor,
Facebook,
Mayor,
too. I don't
Mayor.
care.
I don't write on
Mayor.
Facebook,
May I please?
Yeah, go ahead. By the way, our
I
vote,
wanna thank-
except happy
I
birthday.
want to, yes, thank you, thank you. Please, Ms. Norton, what you're doing right now is what Councilwoman O, Councilman Aversa, and Councilwoman Park said, that they did not want to continue. They want this to stop.
That's
They asked,
okay.
okay, I'm asking you, please, if you have a question, then just ask the question in a good fashion, but to continue, whoever you attack, I don't want you attacking them, I don't want you attacking us. Just ask a question and get an answer. Because what we said at the end of that meeting was that we were going to all make the effort, okay? And put the borough first and to stop all of what you're doing. We're not doing it. You're doing it.
No, I don't
I'm
think
asking
you
you to
did,
please
Carol.
stop.
This is a direct quote from the tape.
I-
I agree.
I-
You said it, these guys agreed,
But let
the
them move
mayor
forward.
did not. So
The
I
mayor
want to
did agree as well.
understand if
You're
this is
taking it out of
really
context.
what he believes.
You-
Do you believe that the public should be shut down and put in their place?
absolutely
All I
not.
wanna know
Why would
is
we
if
do that?
everybody
We want to
agrees
hear
to
from
that.
you. We want to hear from you because we want to highlight how wrong you are. For everybody in the audience, just so you understand what happened yesterday with the budget, we had 3 no votes, okay? Councilman Aversa, Councilwoman Park, and Councilwoman O voted no against the budget. Councilman Aversa actually had nice things to say about the budget, but he still had to vote no, he said. Councilwoman McMorro, Councilman Park, Councilman Wu voted yes. So that created a 3-3 tie. In budget parlance, we need to have 4 yes votes. I get to break the tie as mayor, so I broke the tie. And after that, we had a discussion, and we were all kind of kumbaya, we're talking. Not exactly kumbaya, but kind of kumbaya. We wanted to work well together. Councilwoman O asked to separate from the past, let's go forward, let's stop bringing up the past. And I said, that's fine, but basically the past got you here, you need to disassociate yourself with the past, work with us, and be loyal to the borough, not to your party, okay? That's what I said.
And shut them down. This is,
No.
I
He was
always want to
talking
know.
about social
It's
media.
not delicate.
No, now you're taking things out of context. So, by the way, okay, so I was talking about social media. If you're going to say you want to work with us, and your supporters, such as people in the room in the back, are writing things on Facebook saying negative things about the borough and about the mayor and about the council, well, those are your people. You need to shut them down, okay? Because they're saying bad things. Like, if someone's going to call me a despotic mayor, Well, in my view, best spots are not mayors who are trying to get a budget done. They're people who did terrible things, okay? Right? Ms. Geiger's not here, but she wrote that, okay? Now, under the Communication Decency Act, that is a problem. And that's what I was actually lecturing on Monday, so I'm very well versed in it.
Yeah, well, I don't know anything, and I don't write on
Yeah,
Facebook,
well-
so it doesn't
But
affect
that's-
me. I just listen to
But that's
the
what,
tape.
that's what was.
So
And
you're,
that
you're,
is
you're,
very-
you're here to stir the pot, I understand that. Do you have anything else to add?
I am not here to
Yes, you are, of course you are.
dismiss.
Of course you
I
are.
thought that the meeting went well. I said that to Carol. I was respectful. I didn't come out and say, even though you didn't pass the budget, you still hired 2 full-time employees. I could have said that, but I didn't. I chose not to.
You just did?
but you
Okay, you just did.
I just
That's-
did
You're
because
passive
Mayor, you
aggressive.
keep antagonizing.
What would you like to add to your
You
questions?
keep antagonizing.
Is there anybody else who
Don't
wishes
know
to be
how
heard?
Let it go.
I think they have to answer separately.
No, we don't answer separately, Mr. Di Gregorio.
I
This is
can
my
answer
meeting,
the
we don't do
question.
that.
They have the choice of whether or
My
not-
choice is that I have answered your
But you use
questions.
my time. Would anyone like to say whether that is actually their belief? I would just
Uh,
like to know.
I'm gonna ask the Borough Council,
Is it your belief?
you should go back and listen to the tape. Yeah,
I-
good, all right.
I
Anybody
just-
else wish to be heard? This is enough. Have a
Yes, it
seat.
is, Mayor. It
Have a
sure
seat.
is.
Thank you for your comments. Yes, Ms.
Productive.
Any productive comments? We welcome those.
Mary O'Shea, 12 Irving Avenue. I just wanted to say I was very glad that the budget passed yesterday. I got up, came here for the meeting. The only thing I do want to add is that I was a little surprised that after the CFO explained the facts about the school tax money being included in the balance of the budget, that once that was made clear to the whole council, that there still were no votes. I thought after that was clarified, that members that wanted to use more of the surplus would have understood that that money was accounted for. And I was a little disappointed in the fact that there were no votes then after that. Maybe before, I could have understood it if they didn't understand it, but once that was clarified, it should have been unanimous. That's what I wanted to say.
I thought it would have been also. Does anybody else wish to be heard? All right, have a motion to close the public comment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we have some resolutions to go over, and we're going to vote on these one at a time. I'm going to ask the Borough Clerk to read them in, and somebody will have to make a motion for each one.
Got it. 1 second.
And actually,
Okay.
which one was pulled?
I'm gonna get-
89, right?
I'll pull it.
Oh,
when I
you're
get to-
pulling it,
Yes,
yeah.
of course. Okay, first one. Resolution 88, authorize mayor to sign agreement with Fort Lee Library. Need a motion and a second?
Is it moved?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilperson Zaversa?
No.
E. Park?
Yes.
O.
Actually, I have a question for the borough attorney.
We're voting right now.
Um,
We're voting.
She has, Mayor asked a question.
I have a question, Mr. Mayor, with all due respect. I may have to recuse on that, I'm not sure.
Do you want to talk with me for a minute?
She would need to. She would need to.
Oh, okay, excuse me. It's her
Yeah,
decision, right?
Yeah, no, I know.
Just give
So
me a minute.
you're employed by Port Lee?
Come over here.
Is that what it is?
Over here.
I'm not employed. I'm
Well, okay, so you have a notice to sign everything? No. It's pertains, you don't go to every court session? No. You have a contract with them?
No.
How are you appointed without a contract?
No. It's mayor council appointed.
So it's a resolution,
Yeah,
no
resolution,
contract?
right.
Okay. Yeah, you should recuse yourself.
Just stay on the safe side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here, on the side.
All right, so you're recused?
Recuse.
Thank you.
Okay.
She doesn't have to state a reason.
Recuse, okay. Councilpersons McMorro,
Yes.
M. Park,
Yes.
Wu.
Yes.
Mayor, we have, it passes.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Aversa, I'm just curious, why did you vote no for a library?
Because I still like the Englewood Library.
Oh, okay.
I
Mayor,
think it's easier for some of our elderly residents to get to Englewood, and I constantly hear that from them, so,
That's not what I heard. Okay.
okay, well, that's, again,
Number,
Okay, come on.
you don't have to fight with me, it's just...
that's not what I heard, it's my opinion.
okay, we are pulling Resolution 89 off the agenda. Resolution 90, authorize Borough Clerk to advertise for a full-time DPW laborer and a seasonal laborer. I need a motion and a second.
Second.
That was Wu.
Mhm.
Councilperson Zaversa?
Yes. My unit just died here, so...
E. Park?
I'm trying to open my phone.
Yes, I couldn't hear about...
I said yes, I'm sorry, I'm
You want to
futzing
pull the
with this thing.
microphone closer?
Yes.
E. Park?
Yes.
O.
Yes.
McMorro?
Yes.
M. Park?
Yes.
Wu?
Yes.
It passes. 91, transfer escrow accounts to Bank of New Jersey. We need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Councilperson Zaversa?
Yes.
E. Park?
Yes.
O.
Recuse.
McMorro?
Yes.
M. Park?
Yes.
Wu?
Yes.
Actually, so that passes, but for the public's benefit, the reason we're doing it is, the Bank of America's not taking escrows anymore?
Correct.
We only had it at Bank of America,
Right.
and they no longer maintain the accounts.
Right, so we're just moving it over.
92, appoint special litigation counsel for 2017. I need a motion and a...
Question
Yes,
regarding 92.
yes.
Is this for specific special litigation, or is this a general?
Yes, we appointed Lanza and Lanza last year for special litigation. We have to appoint them this year and have an
Is it
agreement.
limited to the case?
Yes.
Against Boswell?
Yes, it's for
Borough
Boswell.
versus Boswell Engineering.
So for the public's benefit, this is a case involving a flooding condition on Morrow Road for negligent engineering, which the borough is a plaintiff in that case against the former engineers of the borough.
Okay. I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Councilperson Zaversa?
Yes.
E. Park?
Yes.
O.
Yes.
McMorro?
Yes.
M. Park?
Yes.
Wu?
Yes.
Authorize Borough Clerk to solicit bids for the elevator inspector.
So moved.
Second.
Councilperson Zaversa?
Yes.
E. Park?
Yes.
O.
Yes.
McMorro?
Yes.
M. Park?
Yes.
Wu?
Yes.
Okay. During caucus, we added 2 resolutions. The first one is 94, authorization to proceed with settlement and agreement for Lieutenant Mira, and the Borough Attorney is going to give further information on that.
Yes, Madam Clerk, before the motion is made, as discussed in closed session, the litigation entitled Mora versus Borough of Englewood Cliffs and Chief Chiaffi, docket BERL 76-16 is being proposed and discussed for settlement, as well as all disciplinary matters and personnel issues with respect to Lieutenant Scott Mora, both past, present, and future. The proposed settlement that is being discussed and is subject to council approval and subject to a formal written agreement acceptable to all parties will be to settle the Bergen litigation for $110,000. which is inclusive of attorney's fees, and which is partially payable by JIF and payable by the borough for our deductible and copay portions. In addition to that, and part of the proposal being discussed, is that there will be an immediate involuntary disability application immediate involuntary disability application for retirement of Lieutenant Mora from the force, which will be filed within 30 days of the final agreement, and which will be assisted by both the borough and Mora in prosecution of that application. And Lieutenant Mora has accepted all risk with respect to that application should it be denied. It is not the borough's responsibility to take any action other than assist with the involuntary disability application. In addition, what is being considered and may be part of the settlement, which is being proposed for the council now, is that there be a retroactive promotion back to June of 2015 to increase, to assist in the disability pension benefits that will be available to Mr. Mora. In addition, there will be a dismissal of all pending matters filed by Mr. Mora as to the borough and any of its employees, officers, and agents. In addition, there will be dismissal of all pending disciplinary matters that the borough has against Lieutenant Mora, including matters that have not currently been filed, but are being considered. So basically, we're talking about dismissal, a global settlement to dismiss everything. In addition, there will be a waiver by Lieutenant Mora of all claims, past, present, and future, arising out of anything that occurs before the date of the agreement, so that waiver is to prevent any other litigation from being filed by Lieutenant Mora as to anything that occurs up to and including that date, except for an enforcement of the settlement action. In addition, there will be a mutual no disparagement clause, which means the borough can't disparage Lieutenant Mora, and Lieutenant Mora can't disparage the borough. That also includes agents, servants, employees of the borough. In addition, there will be no return to work as a police officer for the borough of Englewood Cliffs, and an agreement not to seek employment with the borough of Englewood Cliffs in any manner. There will be a dismissal of any and all legal fees claims which were being asserted as part of the disciplinary action by the disciplinary attorney for Mora. She's made a claim for legal fees. That is being dismissed in its entirety as to the borough. If there is any remaining legal fees with respect to that matter, Lieutenant Mora will be responsible for them, not the borough. In addition, there will be if there is a request for a reference, it will be strictly limited to the standard reference letter of date of hire, date of promotion, and date of leaving the employ. There will be no further information. That's standard reference letter. In addition, upon the retirement and the disability being approved, upon the retirement, Lieutenant Mora will be entitled to any accumulated benefits under the collective bargaining agreement, nothing other than what he is entitled to. He will be he will not come back to work, so every day he's using accumulated benefits right now, and when he is officially retired on this disability application, he will be entitled to benefits. However, they've agreed to take them over the course of 3 years. First payment on June 18, 2018, second payment in 2019, third payment in 2020. I'm giving these details as a point of reference. There are going to be other provisions in the agreement. These are the main things that the council is being asked to look at all of these items are still subject to negotiation, however, with the limit that things can be dropped or decreased, but I certainly would not approve any increases in a settlement agreement without the council's approval, so that the members of the public understand, the council understand, there will be no change that makes a greater benefit to Mr. Mora. There may be changes that I can negotiate that will be a lesser benefit to Mr. Mora, subject all, of course, to the written agreement. I'm sorry for speaking so long, but I did want to give a full explanation on the record. And if the council has any questions, bearing in mind this is still pending litigation, please ask them now before the motion is made. Any questions? We covered everything? Everyone good?
I would just add two things. One is that the litigations that Anne Marie is discussing here arise from a whistleblower issue. And the second thing is that, as all settlements, each side leaves equally unhappy, okay? So, otherwise it wouldn't be a settlement. So I recommend that we accept this.
I need a motion and a second.
So moved. Second.
Councilperson Zaversa?
Yes.
E. Park?
Yes.
O.
Yes.
McMorro?
Abstain.
M. Park?
Yes.
Wu?
Yes.
Passes, Mayor.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Resolution 95, authorize the borough to proceed with involuntary disability application for Lieutenant Scott Mira. Need a motion?
Can you repeat that, please, Suzanne? I'm sorry.
Authorize the borough to proceed with involuntary disability application for Lieutenant Scott Mira.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, just wanted to make sure.
All right. I need a motion.
So moved. Second.
Council,
Wait, wait.
Aversa moved it?
Yes.
Wu seconded it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Councilperson Zaversa?
Yes.
E. Park?
Yes.
O.
Yes.
McMorro?
Abstain.
M. Park?
Yes.
Wu?
Yes.
Passes, Mayor.
Thank you, council members.
All passes.
Thank you. Okay, we're,
Why did you abstain?
I abstained
Well,
because
excuse
You don't have to.
me, there really, you can privately ask her. There does not have to be a reason for abstention or recusal given.
well, I don't have a conflict for the record. I don't mean to accuse, but I can explain it.
Okay.
okay. All right, can I have committee reports? Councilman Aversa, could you tell us about your committee?
Lighting committee, I have a few residents concerned about, I want to say insufficient street lighting, so I have a call into PSE&G to give me the protocol, what the steps are to move forward with asking for new lighting.
Okay. If you need any assistance
Yes,
with that,
I'm
Kat,
going to talk
yeah,
to
she's
Kat about it.
she's pretty good at
Yeah.
pushing utilities around.
So that is the, where it goes next.
No, actually, I was at a meeting with Catherine, and one of the utilities said, well, we're going to pave just the part of the road that we break. And she said, no, you're going to go curb to curb.
So that's what we're,
So we need more LED streetlights around here.
That
so-
would be nice.
Yeah,
We'd like to get the whole town done like that.
exactly. Yeah. Better on energy as well.
That's it, thank you.
All right, thank you. Councilwoman Park?
So we had our rabies clinic, which was a success. We had 15 dogs, 1 cat that received rabies shots. We also had 2 cat adoptions and 2 dog adoptions. And I'm a little sad that one of the dogs I wanted really bad, but my kids are very allergic, so, but it was a success, and I want to thank the Bergen County Animal Shelter for doing a great job.
Councilwoman Al?
Transportation, the senior car services, they're running, okay, and, if you have any suggestions, Mary, at any time, we should get together and,
Anytime.
and talk about it. I know in the past that when Lizette was working also as the administrator, she looked into other options, and right now what we're doing for the transportation is the best we can do, but if there are any options out there, please let me know.
Thank you. Councilwoman McMorro?
Thank you, Mayor. Well, of course, most important thing for me to report as finance chair is that our budget passed yesterday. I want to thank everyone again. I know I thanked everyone yesterday, but I want to thank everyone for yesterday's meeting. I thought it was a very productive meeting. We had a great discussion, and even though at the end of the day we didn't agree, we still were able to agree to disagree and still have the borough move forward and be able to do its business. And I thank each and every one of you, Gloria, Ellen, and Ed. Thank you. Next, we will be holding, just to give these dates out to the public, we will be having a special meeting on May 22nd. It will be for the introduction of our capital improvement ordinance. On the list of that are the roads that will be our road program, which we're doing for the Riverside Cooperative this year. The list of roads, for those of you that weren't at the caucus, are Deborah, Terrace, Jenkins, John, Maple, Churchill, and the entire DPW yard. We're also, through a grant, are taking care of Charlotte Place. That's a separate, it's not through this road program. It's through a grant we received last year. On the capital list, we will be introducing items under the police department for investigation into possible lead asbestos testing, approving an architect to look at the 10 Con Terrace building, signboards, alcohol machine, locker room renovations, portable signboard, and cameras. Under DPW, road signs, bathroom here at 10 Con Terrace, various improvements at the senior center, long-awaited community chairs that we need at both the senior center. I know they will be very happy about that. Submersible camera, DPW, 2 vehicles for DPW, and an asphalt hot box. And also, there's a fuel concrete pad that needs to be addressed. Separately, and we are awaiting, Gloria, tomorrow, if you will let Lizette know about the date for, the special meeting for June 12th. I'm going to be asking for the assistance of the press as well. If you can contact me after the meeting, I'll let you know exactly when we find out for sure. Tentatively, it is June 12th at 8 p.m. That special meeting will be to discuss possible improvements to Whitty Field and what improvements that the council desires to have done. The entire town obviously will be notified through various, Lizette, you'll help us with that, getting the word out, and get their feedback on their thoughts, and that meeting will be made very public. Next, just on our recreation, everything's up and running, going well, girls softball, taekwondo, soccer tots, Zumba, yoga, tennis, golf, and summer camp is starting soon. Thank you.
Our planning board investment qualification review. 29% plus membership application was denied after long discussion of our board members, because in the most recently our town not allowed about the membership application. And the second one, we reviewed about 22 rubber for the swimming pool application. Will be further discussed tomorrow night.
Good evening. 2 major topics that the board at that meeting, which was held, the regular meeting was held on the 1st of May. The budget was passed with an increase of 14.7%. The tax levy is 4.3% of the 14.7%. The remainder is for capital reserve for renovations to the upper school. I'm sure that'll be together in discussion with the mayor and council. The field, is one of the renovations, so we want to see how they work together as pertains to the use of the fields, ceiling tiles, and to make the bathrooms ADA compliant. The second major topic of the Board of Ed meeting was the math program. I sat in on both. May 1st was the second discussion on whether we were going to move forward with Go Math or Singapore Math, otherwise sometimes known as Math in Focus. It's kind of complicated because Singapore Math in its purest form is Singapore Math, and then there's a derivative of that called Math in Focus. Following the meeting on May 1st, the subject was to be tabled for a special meeting on May 9th, which was just held. At that meeting, the Board of Ed, in a 7-0 vote, voted for Math in Focus, Go Math, which was the program that was suggested by the superintendent and the rest of the administration. In terms of DPW, I've notified DPW there's been the batting cages over at Whitty Field are, need some repair. We're looking into, the turf that's laid down, or the carpet that's laid down over there has been turned up. We're going to use something to block the wind from blowing over to prevent that from coming up. Procedures pertaining to the bathrooms at Whitty Field to keep them clean. We're going through that. We're trying to have a sign-in sheet where the person who cleans it, there's accountability on that matter. And then miscellaneous repairs. One of the residents on Middlesex Avenue said their curb was destroyed. DPW is currently working on that and going to repair the curb. In terms of police, they held the Whitty baseball clinic was held for the children on April 22nd. That was a big success. It was a little bit rainy that day, but there was probably about 15 kids or so and their families that came out. That's all I have.
Thank you very much. Christina?
Yeah, I just wanted to, just for clarification, I know I announced June 12th is the meeting. We knowingly scheduled it the same day as the Recreation Advisory Board meeting so that those members would also be in attendance at the meeting on Whitty Field. And one thing I've got to report is that the White Collar Union negotiations is completed, and we're just positive ending. And Catherine, if you just want to follow up on the legal part of what we're waiting for.
Is it signed yet?
No, and we can't discuss the aspects of the contract itself until it is initialed off by the union. It's under review by the union currently, and the union will send it back to us. We have a very positive agreement for both sides, and when it comes back, we'll explain it a little bit more in detail.
I have a question regarding the Whitty Field meeting. Is that going to be like a workshop kind of thing, or is it, we're going to
I think
vote, or what's the...
it'll be however the council decides. I thought the way we did it the last time was a good way. I mean, obviously the engineer will be here, and I thought it was a good idea to have the Recreation Advisory Board members here too. And did you think it went, the way we did it was okay?
Yeah, I think it was great.
That was
just,
great.
we need another, I think we need another workshop sort of thing to just talk it over again.
Absolutely, just like the last one. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Is there any old business? Yes.
I guess this is for the borough attorney.
Yeah.
So, every month I ask you, and you said last meeting.
May.
Yeah, we're in May, and I want to know where we're at, and I think that we really need to go out for RFQs or RFPs for, borough attorney. No offense against you, Henry, but
I understand.
we don't have you don't have a contract with the borough. So that's, if I need to make a motion, I will do so. I just wanted your feedback on that.
Yeah, I was supposed to be prepared for that, and somehow it slipped my mind, but I did talk briefly with the borough administrator about that, as well as with the mayor. So I think we're going to definitely have something in the June meeting.
Well, so that being said, I think we should be a little prudent as a council.
Yeah.
And, because there is no contract with your firm, And
Well, and I have to tell you, I don't know for certain, I know that the appointment was made up through February 28, and I'm sort of called a holdover right now. Dorsey and Semrau is called a holdover right now, and, you know, it's a little bit long that we are doing that, right? So
But
it's 3
I
months
guess
already.
my concern is that at some point, your firm could just tell us, look, and I don't know what the time frame is that you have to leave, but they can, it seems, just say, we've given you time, we're done, and, well, not that you would, but...
And I certainly will state on the record that I would not do that to the borough, pull out, just...
Appreciate that.
But, and I consider my obligations, and certainly the law firm considers the obligation and takes it very seriously. And I pretty much said that, you know, whatever happens on the June meeting, there's probably going to be a 30-day period where you're going to have to do something, et cetera. I'm going to stay through that. And wherever you make a decision. And I just also want to make clear that I would like to stay on as borough attorney, and I'm very interested in assisting the borough of Englewood Cliffs in what is sometimes a tumultuous period of time. And in addition, you seem to be having a lot of good things that you're doing, and I'm interested in doing work, you know, like writing ordinances and resolutions and getting some of the things that you have going, finished and completed.
So I'm going to make a motion to go out for RFP or RFQ, so that your firm could apply and we could follow the protocol the way it's supposed to and not lose a beat or skip a beat. Come June, if your firm decides to still be here, I'm sure we would.
Well, you don't have to go out for RFQ if you don't want to.
But I think we should, because we did it before, and your firm didn't even apply for it, so that would be, I just think to make it look proper and not having issues moving forward, that, there's nothing wrong with that, I don't see what the big deal is, so. I make that motion to go out for RFQ for our attorney.
I second that motion.
Point of order?
Yes,
Can I move discussion?
yes, you recognize.
Okay, I need a second.
There's a second.
I recognize you.
I know, but no, after I got recognized, I still have a second. What's your, first of all, like your opinion on that?
What?
After, okay, she's putting on the record that she is interested in staying. I would like to say, my own opinion, to bring anyone else in new at this point would be extremely detrimental to the borough. We have 9 litigations, well, maybe 8 after this vote here. 8 active litigations.
Maybe 7.
Well, I don't know, okay. But whatever, we have more than we should have. For anyone to come up to speed on understanding, just on that aspect alone, that not counting our COA situation, the Fifth Street situation, and there's a laundry list of things that we know of what the borough is dealing with, besides those litigations, it would put an enormous cost burden on the residents that is not a positive thing.
I'm not saying anything, I think those are all valid points.
Right, so if she is saying on the record, and this is, I appreciate you saying that to him, that she is interested in staying, why are we going out to RFQ if the person that is serving us right now is sharing with you that she is interested in staying? I could see you saying, well, I'd like to know for the next meeting what you're offering.
Well, I asked that every month since
Offer
January,
is,
so.
no, I'm saying what your offer is, but why incur the costs and the work to the borough employees to go out to RFQ when, you know what I'm saying, when it's not, it's a detrimental thing to the borough, number one. And number two, given, and I wanted to remind you, we need to mention Memorial Day as a holiday and our event. We would need to go out and advertise for a minimum of 45 days, given a holiday. So you're talking about, or even 60 days. I mean,
I guess my biggest
Actually,
concern-
could I just follow Robert's rules?
Oh,
And under Robert's
sorry.
rules, you introduce and you explain,
Yeah.
everyone on the council gets to speak once, and then,
She has-
and then you
No, I
get to
get that.
finish.
I
And then you get to
appreciate
finish.
that. Yeah.
Final word.
So,
Thank you.
you know, a minimum of 45 to 60 days, I would never recommend in this type of a situation to be advertising for less than 60 days at this point. So, you know, that's just my opinion, and
Is there anyone else on council that wishes to speak?
I do.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor, for recognizing me.
You're welcome.
So there should be a protocol, right? Like, when we hire our professionals, we go out in RFQ. That seems to be the protocol of the borough. And just the fact that the firm did not submit it, their RFQ last year for 2017, that concerns me to some degree, because it is the firm that we hire, not the individual attorney. So, she may be interested in staying on, but, I'd like to get the opinion of the firm, whether they want to be part of, representing the borough. So, there is a motion on the floor, there's a second, I think we should take a vote.
Well, there's still discussion. Anybody else on council wish to mention anything? Anybody else? I would actually say one thing that, actually, go ahead, William.
I just have a question, Anne Marie.
Yeah.
Has your firm given you any timing as to, when they can have some feedback for us? Ed did mention it several times, so.
Yes, and I think that my office would be comfortable in a 30-day period after you go out for RFQ and you get your RFQs. So this should have been discussed in a closed session.
yeah, this is not.
But
But I keep asking.
I
you
know,
don't answer.
I
In
know,
all fairness to
and
me.
there is a motion, so here's the way, to the point of protocol. RFQ and RFP are allowed under our public bidding laws for professional service contracts. And the reason that you do an RFQ or an RFP is so that you appoint a professional who then accepts a contract and may not be limited in the pay-to-play laws. If you do not go out to RFQ and you merely appoint a professional under a professional services agreement, that person is prohibited from election donations contrary to pay-to-play. So you have two options. One is you can appoint a professional, and two is you can go out for an RFQ to appoint a professional. Those are the two options. And the discussion that Gloria raised about, I don't mean to call you by your first name, Councilwoman raised about myself versus the law firm is a valid one, because I have had those type of discussions with my office. And there is no conclusion other than both Fred Semrau and myself agree that we are not going to leave you in the lurch. We are going to work things out to the benefit of the borough, be it continuation or not a continuation. So that being said, there is a motion and there is a second. You can take a vote
But there's still discussion.
after discussion, or you can change your motion, or however you want to do
Is
it.
there any other council member who hasn't been heard that wishes to speak? For what it's worth, for me, I find that working with Anne Marie is very productive and very efficient, and it's also very demanding. We demand a lot from Anne Marie. She's done a lot of work for us over the last couple of months, and I'm very appreciative of that, and I thank you, and I thank your firm. We've accomplished a lot, and we've always followed the rules, the law, and I prefer to focus on the actual substance of what we're trying to accomplish rather than, what we're talking about right now. Anne Marie's here. I hope she stays here. I don't favor an RFQ. I favor just continuing in the agreement stage that we have. And I will have, under Robert's rules, Councilman Aversa have the last word, and then we'll continue our vote.
So I want to make it understood that this is nothing against Anne Marie or her firm. This has nothing to do with any of that. I'm not saying I'm dissatisfied in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying that we should follow protocol. There's nothing, to me, it's not a big deal. Just go out for an RFQ, and if they're interested, they'll, submit their proposal, and if the council chooses to bring them back because we're happy with their work, then we can. If not, we can pick someone else. I see it as a very, transparent way of doing it. And it's not, again, it has nothing to do with Anne Marie's work or her firm's work. I think it's just proper, and that's how it should be done. I've been asking since January, so it's not something I'm just bringing up now.
Council, would you amend your motion to go out to RFQP for 60 days?
You mean wait 60 days?
We have a holiday in the middle, and I don't feel it's...
I know, it's fine.
It's okay, then let's just vote then.
Well, I have a question, but I'm not finished. Discussion is discussion.
Well, under Robert's rules, everyone has one chance to speak.
And then I had...
He started, he rebutted, and that's it.
Oh, only one?
I don't understand. Was the motion made with the time frame?
No.
No.
He didn't say anything about time frame. I don't have anything about time frame.
Yeah, I have a question. So the RFQ or RFP, is it the same kind of process where just resumes are sent in and, we would be
A proposal is sent in.
Okay.
And it includes resume.
Okay.
And it includes firm description or employee description. And it includes a price. Hourly rate.
Okay.
It usually includes, here are the services I do. If there are extra things like costs for copying,
And one of the new things that we've added in Englewood Cliffs is a no conflict certification.
Right.
Can I
That's-
explain to her? Can I explain to Ellen? Can I explain to Ellen?
Yeah.
Just because my one experience was...
So, just so you understand, last year, before you were sworn in,
Yes.
I went out with advice and consent for the governing body, I went out for RFQ and RFP for all our professionals.
Okay.
In early December, I gave you a CD. Those are all the RFQs and RFPs.
Right.
So that's basically what Councilman Aversa is saying. Can we go out for another one? That's what that is.
So while we're still in discussion, can I ask you why your firm didn't
We're
say
all,
it?
really, I'm trying to keep to Robert's rules, and Robert's
Well,
rules are
I
everybody
have
speaks
questions.
once. We're going to vote.
Fine. All right, we have a motion on the floor.
You can ask me later.
Okay, I will ask you privately.
Let's just have our vote,
Just
follow the
curious.
rules.
I'm a good man, so...
Okay,
So the
thanks.
motion's made.
So motion was made.
Was seconded.
It was seconded, and we're going to vote.
Councilperson Aversa,
Yes.
E. Park,
Yes.
O.
Yes.
McMorro,
Yes.
M. Park,
Yes.
Wu.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, any other old business?
Memorial Day, please.
Well, that's new business.
Oh, sorry.
So, under new business, we have Memorial Day observance on May 29th at the fire station. What time is that at?
9:30.
9:30. Okay. Please try to attend, bring your families, your children. And the other thing that I want to mention is, with the budget process, I kind of got sidetracked from what I wanted to do a few months ago, and I'd like to have, I'd like to connect the municipal government more with the children in our town. So in particular, I'd like to have a council person, mayor for the day for our eighth graders. I don't know what the process would be to select them. Perhaps we do the fire chief, police chief, DPW as well. I remember as a grammar school student, I actually was councilman for the day. And, they put me up in a cherry picker in a fire truck. So I thought it would be good if we do it twice a year, once with our eighth graders and once with one of the levels of high school students, so we connect up our municipal government with our students as well. So I'm going to ask our borough administrator to be the guiding light on that with me and coordinate it. And I don't know if it's too late to do for this school year, but we may want to organize it now for September.
It depends, we'll have to discuss how large we want to make it. I've run Mayor for the Day programs in other communities. What it's usually done is through their history class, and they actually go through the form of election. And the student body elects a mayor, elects council members. And of course, we don't want children to be losers either, so they all get to become,
Yeah, so I
department heads.
just want to figure out the best way to do this, to include as many people where the real work is done. Okay, so that was one of my thoughts. Is everyone supportive of that?
Actually, another idea that comes to my mind is maybe you could work with either the PTA or the Education Foundation, and I know that they've done like silent auction items,
Yes.
be a mayor for the day, or, whatever.
Yeah,
it
so
is.
that's
So,
fine. We'll
that
talk
may be
about that.
another-
I want it to be more merit-based and, parents bidding on things, financial-based, to try to keep it wholesome and noble. I don't know, maybe we'll do it that way, maybe maybe we won't, but I'll leave it up to you to give me some guidance, and then I'll come back to the council and explain what we're going to, what options we have, okay? Because conceptually, I think we all agree, and we'll figure out the parameters. Okay, I know Anne Marie has something to add on new business.
Yeah, I just want to briefly let the council know that I have been reviewing the Fifth Street situation with no road improvement. So that's under consideration, and I will be providing you with a timetable for what we end the process for what we need to do, so that we can get moved towards an ordinance that perhaps sets the assessments and move towards getting those road improvements done over on Fifth Street. So I'll report on that probably next month too.
Okay, is there any other new business? Yes.
Mayor, if we could ask Ms. Eastwood when Arbor Day is at the schools?
When is Arbor Day? I know we had the proclamation. When is our observance?
It is the Tuesday after Memorial Day. North Cliffs will start at 9 o'clock, and Upper School will start at 1 o'clock. And we encourage everybody to come and plant flowers with children. It's a lot of fun. I suspect I can count on Councilwoman Park, since she has children in the school.
I saw you last year.
But I hope all of you will come, and Councilman Wu, you have children too, but I hope all of you will come. It's a lot of fun. And Mayor, I'm sure you know that the children are looking forward to you coming and giving your annual proclamation.
I will do that. I don't get to wear the Dr. Seuss hat for this, though.
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Can I have a motion to adjourn if there's nothing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.